So did you already tell somebody next to you what optimism means?
Yes.
Okay. Stand up if your birthday's in January. Okay. Awesome. Out of the people who are standing up, who's willing to tell us what the word optimism means? Okay, Holden.
Optimism means when you're happy.
Okay, anybody else want to add something? Okay, you guys can sit down. Anybody else in the crowd want to add something? Go ahead and stand up.
Optimism is when you're kind of looking like on the good side of things and not on the bad side.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to that? Go ahead and stand up. Pass her the mic.
Optimism, it can mean like feel like.
It can also be.
Optimism can also be like mysterious sometimes, or things, or mysterious or something.
Okay. If you think more about it, raise your hand. So optimism, thank you for being willing to take a risk, those of you, especially on a microphone. Optimism does mean looking at what is the possible good in something. This morning I was in the band room while kids were sharing what their hopes are for this year. And I could tell that there were some kids who felt really optimistic, like, I'm really looking forward to outdoor ed, I'm really looking forward to learning some new math. And some kids who were struggling with optimism because they were saying, like, I'm looking forward to the last day of school. So we can look forward to both things, but the way that we're going to have most success is to view our life at school with optimism, with a positive attitude, with good feelings, good thoughts, with a little bit of mystery about what might happen that could be good, okay? So, oh, I forgot to ring the bell. You didn't get to hear my bell. But that's because you were already so quiet. So, what is the school motto? Okay, say it one more time with more enthusiasm. Work hard, be kind, achieve. You got it. That is our school motto, and we mean it. We expect everyone to work hard in both academics and in things like kindness. We expect you to be kind to one another, which means smiling, looking for who needs help, and trying to be helpful, not joining in when somebody else is making fun of somebody, if something bad happens to somebody, like they can't get their locker open, stopping to help. And then achieve. So obviously through working hard and being kind, that's how you get your achievement. That means that you're successful in school because you have found the right strategies that work. So be the change is something that we're playing with, maybe using more this year. And there's a quote that goes with it. So these are the things I want you to be able to do, and I'll tell you more about the other things as I move through the slides. Identify how you can make sure we are a school where everybody belongs. You did the orientation on Friday? What was that called? The web program. Did you see the web leaders? See Mr. Funes right there with his shirt? They all had the web leaders. WEB, W-E-B, stands for Where Everybody Belongs. And we really want to be a school where everybody belongs. And you have a part in making that happen. And then to help you understand the expectations. Those are the things that you'll be able to do when you leave here in a few minutes. Maybe. Okay. So the be the change part. There's a quote by Margaret Mead, and it's, be the change you wish to see in the world. And not just that, but we want you to be the change you wish to see in our school, and be the change you wish to see in yourself. Now that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, so you better change. What it means is, there are opportunities for growth here, and we're all trying to get better. You can see I have some scrapes on my knee. That's because I fell on my bike yesterday. I'm still really working hard at mountain biking, and it's not easy for me. I have to work really hard at it. I have a lot of fun. It makes me feel really alive, but it feels like I'm challenging myself the whole entire time because I have so much more to learn and more practice to get better. So I want you to be thinking about, How can you change and improve and get better? And we might ask you, hey, be the change if you're making a choice that we don't think quite meets our goals. And that just means, I need to remember there's a habit of a scholar I might be breaking. Maybe I need to be more compassionate, or maybe I need to use my executive skills to get myself back on track. And then where everybody belongs, I want you to turn or whisper to a partner near you. What can you do as an individual to make sure everybody in our school feels like they belong here? Turn and talk. Make sure you and your partner talk. If your birthday's in July, stand up. If your birthday's in July and you're willing to share what either you thought or what your partner thought, raise your hand. Don't feel like talking in front of the group? Okay, you guys can sit down. Anybody else who's willing to share what you and your partner thought about how you can make sure everyone belongs?
You can include people in what you're doing, and if somebody's like making fun of other people, try to like help them stop.
What would that sound like, do you think, if you're including somebody?
Being kind.
So what words would you say?
Stop it.
Okay, stop it if somebody's being mean, and what about if you wanted to include?
Here, do you want to come play with us?
Awesome. Anybody else want to add to that?
If somebody is like having computer troubles or locker troubles, you can try to help them figure it out.
Great, what would you say to them?
You'd probably say something like, "Here, can I help you?"
Awesome. Okay, one more.
If anyone like can't find their classes or is lost, then you could try to like help them figure out where they can go.
And what would that sound like?
Do you need some help?
Great. Next slide, Mr. Funes. So you guys have some really great ideas. I do want to let you know about a couple of our rules. First of all, dress code. We've adjusted our dress code a little bit for this year because we used to have a rule about like your shorts couldn't be shorter than your fingertips and things like that. I just want to make sure you know that our rule is make sure that you're covering all body parts that are private, number one. And number two, you can't show anything on your clothing that's related to drugs or alcohol or bad words or anything like that. So if you end up wearing something to school that's not appropriate for school, we'll ask you to turn your clothes inside out so that we can't see the thing that's inappropriate, or add some clothing in the office, or you can always change into PE clothes. But our hope is that you just come to school dressed to learn in a way that is comfortable to you for learning and also meets our code of conduct at our school for what's appropriate, okay? Yes, that's correct. When you're buying shorts, when you go to the store to buy shorts, a lot of times it tells you how many inches the inseam is. So when you look at that, see if you can get 4 or more inches on the inseam. And that's just the part about like the length of the skirt or the shorts. Other than that, just make sure that it's covering your full bottom. That's the main thing, because sometimes those shorts can be pretty short and they don't cover your full bottom. Okay? Yes. Yes, you are allowed to wear spaghetti straps now. Cell phones and hats, your phones have to be put away and shut off from 8 until 3:20. First bell to last bell. You may have your phones in the foyer when you first arrive and in the cafeteria. We ask 5th graders to go through the foyer and either into the cafeteria or into the courtyard in the morning, because it makes it a little bit less crowded if you guys stick together in the cafeteria and courtyard. And then you go into the building through the courtyard instead of through the main hall, okay? Because that helps with less crowdedness. As soon as you head into the building through that 5th grade pod, your hat comes off, your cell phone gets shut off, and it goes into the locker. You can't have your cell phone out at lunch, but you may have your hat at lunch, okay? Don't put it on in the hallway. Wait until you get in the cafeteria or outside for your hat. Bullying, harassment, and conflict. The difference between bullying and conflict is usually between 2 people, and each person kind of has some ownership in it. Like, I might have knocked into Valeria, and she might have pushed me back. And that's a conflict because both of us did something that wasn't the best, and we both hurt the other person with our action. Bullying is more one-sided, where one person has all the power, and sometimes it's a person and sometimes it's a group of people, and it's something that happens over time, and it keeps happening even though they know that it's made the other person feel bad. So we want to make sure that when you see bullying, that you stand up to it and say something about it in the moment to the other kids, like, wow, that really sounded mean, I don't like how you're treating him. Or, and, say something in the moment and say something to an adult. I saw this happen and I didn't like how it made the other kid feel. Conflict, also report. We need some help solving this problem. Harassment means that you're saying something about a whole group of people, something about their race or their culture or their religion or their body or their gender or who they feel as a person. That's called harassment, and you can get in extra big trouble for that because it's against the law, and even the school can get in trouble for that. So you really need to be careful about the words that come out of your mouth and really stop and think before you say something about another person that could offend them and a whole group of other people, okay? Words that we aren't going to use here at school are words like gay, like that's gay, because that's hurting people who have a whole set of beliefs and way of living. So we don't use that word at school, okay? So the big question, how will you grow this year? We want you to make mistakes and learn from them. And then try differently next time. So that bike ride where I got my scrapes yesterday, I'm going back next weekend, and I'm going to ride ginormous without hitting my brakes too much, because the reason I fell is because I got scared and I hit my brakes too much. So that's a ride at Prince Creek. How many of you have done that bike ride? Okay. Oh, a lot of you. So it's sometimes scary, and it's hard when we make mistakes to be like, oh. When you make a mistake, there's 2 ways to deal with it. Number 1, you can say, oh, I'm so stupid. Do you think that's a good way to deal with it? No. That's a way that makes you feel worse and probably not do better next time. Or you can say, oh, that's so frustrating. Is that a good way to deal with it? It's okay, yes. It's good to have feelings of frustration. You go, oh, I'm so frustrated. You can be frustrated and then you make a plan. I'm so frustrated, so I need some help. I need to ask this person for that. I need more practice. I need a new strategy. I need to cry about it sometimes and then get back on and try again. So we expect you to make those mistakes, to dig in, to have the courage to do something hard, okay? And what's our motto again? Work hard, be kind, achieve. All right. Congratulations on making it to middle school. We're super excited to have you here.